Alright, forecast. If we start with the dollar again, like usual, then right here what we're seeing is we saw potential lower price of the fair value gap, 4 hour fair value gap right there, which again, with time just simply not agreeing, this is also not a scenario where I would then look at lower prices. So here, a very good practice actually to spot seek and short conditions, because what do we have? We have bullish fair value gaps not following through, bearish fair value gaps not following through, leading to overall seek and short conditions. So that is quite interesting. Overall, is there something interesting to get involved in? No, definitely not. And that is also why I'm going over the forecast right now quite fast. In ES, we saw quite a significant move lower. Now here, again, potentially next week, weekly fair value gap to continue higher off of that right there. That could also be quite nice. That is the same for NASDAQ right there. Weekly value gap in the making. Very, very interesting actually. And we are seeing right there that high of the week. So here, if anything, potential shorts could be interesting. But again, I very simply said want to stay out of the market right now. Then for YM reaching for the weekly fair value gap as well, or the weekly value gap that is in the making actually right there, which next week we can continue higher off of as well. DAX. So DAX right here could potentially again reach for that overlapping part, and that would be, I would find that more interesting than just the daily, just the weekly value gap right there. And the reason for that is because it gives it extra confirmation that we actually want to push higher right there when we come into the overlapping part and then continue higher off that. I like that a little bit more if we are already close to the overlapping part. Then on Australian dollar, US dollar right here, can continue higher of course, but overall I just don't really like the price action right there. So again, nothing really for me to say right there. EU as well can continue higher, did not create a daily fair value gap higher, just don't like the price action right here. I don't want to look to get involved as well. Then GU, same thing here, and this is exactly what we went over, where we have the daily fair value gap. On the 4 hour, yes, it looks like it wants to continue higher, but again, the time is just simply not agreeing, so I don't want to do anything right there. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, same exact story, so I'm going to keep on repeating myself. A lot of times here, same exact story, USD Canadian dollar as well. We have this 4 hour value gap right there, which we can potentially continue lower from. It's looking quite interesting. Potentially daily value gap as well above it right there. So that is where it's a little bit tricky right here, where I would prefer the daily value gap overall. USD CHF, daily value gap to potentially continue lower. Again, I'm doing a forecast right now, but I'm not looking to get involved in anything. So I'm going over it as well quite fast, where I would also advise to just not get involved in anything right now. I would simply wait it out until January and then looking to potentially do something. USD-JPY, so this is actually quite interesting because we did get that 4 hour value gap, which we respected, got a new 4 hour value gap lower off of that, which of course could be quite interesting. Silver right here as well, the silver fair value gap sitting, silver fair value gap, the 4 hour fair value gap on silver right there, which we can continue higher off of. That would be the ideal scenario, although we do not create that daily value gap higher, which is of course not very nice. Then gold right here, which looked like it wanted to continue higher, but it just failed to continue higher right now. So if we get a new 4 hour value gap higher, then that would be interesting to me again. Bitcoin, if we get that daily value gap higher, which we do not get right there, we fail to again, then still waiting right here, still waiting. Crude oil, so right here, I mainly want to wait for the monthly fair value gap that is being created right there. And that would be interesting to then continue lower off of that. Nifty, so Nifty is finally having a retracement, and right now, I would want to wait for the weekly fair value gap, see if we want to continue higher off of that, or want to come into the overlapping part. Then, on the short list, Euro Canadian dollar, let's see. Right here, daily fair value gap, which we could continue lower from, of course. 4 hour, it's quite struggling to continue lower right there. I'm not sure what news is doing actually at this moment in time, but quite struggling to continue lower. So here I just, again, would want to wait overall. New Zealand dollar JPY, let's see. We came into the weekly, so if we can now potentially continue lower, push lower off of that, could be quite interesting overall. 4 hour value gaps lower as well. Again, personally, just don't really want to get involved. CHF JPY as well, 4 hour value gaps lower off the weekly fair value gap. So if we can continue lower off that, could be quite interesting. And we confirm order flow within 3 hours, right? Or within 4 hours right there. So that could be quite interesting as well. GBP Canadian dollar. Let's see. We have this 4-hour Vega gap. Tomorrow, if we do have new supporting ID, which I'm not sure of actually, I've not checked, then if we can do something like this to then continue lower, could as well be quite nice. Draw liquidity is very, very close right there. So the draw liquidity is overall very clear. So if you can deliver there, could again be quite nice. Again, I say quite nice and I say potentially a lot. And again, the reason being for that is because it's December, the end of December. I do not want to get involved. There's low volatility. It's low probability in my opinion. So I do not want to do anything right now because simply time is not agreeing. All right, perfect. Thank you.